name is Mark Chandler Fifield, but I go by Chandler. I was pretty good academically in school, at a young age. I was, very interested in music. I love music to this day. It's kind of cool. I started to rebel, right? I started to do what my parents did instead of what they told me to do. But I decided to take another route. And then I started to really see, I have this thing where I want to be everywhere that I'm not. And I was able to find that place through drugs and alcohol. I became too much to handle, right? For not only my family, but for school. It had gotten so bad that I had gotten expelled from school. My parents were like, "We don't trust you here." Like, they were afraid of me. And then when I was 15, I got into heroin. And that was the real arrival, the real feeling I had been looking for my whole life, right? Or so I thought. And, worked a job, and then I moved to an apartment, which, my parents also helped me out with. And I didn't care about my life, and I definitely didn't care about your life, right? This obsession to be everywhere that I'm not became like a craving into an obsession by any means necessary. I'm getting this thing that takes me to this place that's not right here. I ended up in a Motel 6, and I woke up in a bathtub full of freezing cold water. And at that point, I was just like, all right, normal people don't do that. Let's go to treatment. Let's go to a rehab facility. So this place, this person, this thing is going to keep me on the right path. It's going to fix me. And I left, and it didn't. So maybe a more expensive, rehab facility with the best therapy money could buy, and medications and all these things. Like, this place is gonna fix me. It's gonna put me on the right path. And a year and 7 months later, being under their, supervision, I decided, no, I'm gonna go back to Arizona. And it wasn't even an hour until I was right back to where I started. I was using drugs, alcohol, stepping on friends and family. If you got in the way of me and my next drug, I was either extremely charming and nice and gracious towards you, or get out of my way, right? And this continued. And then I was like, again, let's go to another rehab treatment facility. Maybe they have something that the last 2 or 3 didn't have. And I get out, and I go back to where I started. I'm like, okay, so if drugs and alcohol are my problem, then I just need to stop the drugs, and I can just go back to who I am. And that just wasn't the case either, because again, I end up loaded again, and I die, right? Actually legally dead, pronounced dead, in a Barnes & Noble bathroom. Deep down inside, like, I knew I wasn't finished. Like, I was like, all right, well, that was just a one-off. On the outside, I made it look like I was seriously done, right? Because I just want people to get off my back. I don't want anybody to think that I don't care. And I've changed people, places, things, environments. I was withdrawing off drugs and alcohol, financially depleted. Like, my world is on fire. I'm this close to moving out of my apartment. Outside, just gonna go live outside. And finally I hit my knees, because that's the one thing I hadn't done, is actually rely and depend on God, right? So I was like, no longer asking myself, what do I do now? And that was the one thing I hadn't tried. And this is crazy, right? And I begged God to take away, my obsession, my need to be everywhere that I'm not. And for the first time in 17 years, I had called out to Jesus Christ, who came immediately to comfort me, right? And I, to this day, is the safest, most secure, most love and care I'd ever felt in my entire life. God pretty much said to me that, he's like, I am, right, the same way, and I never left you, right? And I finally was like, yes, okay, finally, yes, like I accept this. I still have these things, right? God's still working in my life. He's still continuing to fix me, right? And I have these things that I know that I should give to him. And it's not that I don't have faith that he's not going to do away with them, but I have this fear that he is going to do away with them. And I still want to hold on to these things of comfort because I still have this thing where I want to be everywhere that I'm not. It's a lot quieter now, right? And that just is like a testament to show that I still need Jesus, right? And I still need God fixing and working in my life. Because if he was done with me, I would have died in that Motel 6. And I would have died when I died. It would have been done, right? But he's still continuing to work in me and with me and for me and just do these amazing things that I couldn't do for myself. I'm just really excited to see where he takes me and like what he calls me to do. And I'm blessed to have a community of people who are in this fellowship at Light and Life that are just like, come as you are for real, and not just, you know, like I'm wearing open-toed shoes right now, giving my testimony, right? I don't need to clean up first, right? Because God already knows what my house looks like, right? God already knows what my insides are. And he works with people who are functioning with pieces. That's something that I had to learn. I was like, oh, I have to like dress up for Jesus. I have to like really clean up before I can go and do the thing. And it was just like, no, he's really good at doing that for us. We just have to have faith, right? Faith is a complete trust in something. And it's, you know, and I'm not perfect. That's what's so beautiful about it, is that he's continuing to work in my life. I continue to hit my knees every day. I continue to repent, and I continue to give my testimony, even in places where it doesn't necessarily feel warranted to give my testimony, but as soon as the opportunity comes, I'm like, this is a fact out of my experience. I am evidence that this is a real deal thing.